All right, looks like I'm live. Okay, so here I am. I'm doing this finally. Been asked to do this for a while and I haven't done it, which tells me I have some fear here. There's some resistance. So I started to get more curious and I figured that doing it is going to teach me something about myself. So instead of doing a really easy topic that I'm comfortable with, I'm going to do a very challenging topic that I'm not comfortable with. So often in sessions, the conversation can steer towards this difficult question, which is how do you bridge the gap between you're perfect just the way you are to what about all these bad things that I do and all these noticeable imperfections and this idea of there is an ideal that I can live to and I'm not living up to it. Okay. So, how do you bridge that gap? All right. So, this is a very difficult one. A part of it is this idea of you're perfect just the way you are. Yes. But have you reached your highest potential? The answer is no. Okay. So, both these things can be true. Yes, I'm perfect the way I am. Yes, I'm not anywhere close to the person that I could be. And so I do believe both these can be true. And so you can live in both worlds. So one way to think about it is this idea of development and growth, right? So you're not born into existence at your fullest potential. So you could think about it like a giant oak tree at its fullest potential. You see an oak tree and you're like, wow, what a great tree. But you don't see like a little oak sapling and be like, wow, look at that thing, right? But it's still perfectly being an oak tree, just at that stage of development. Same with like a beautiful flower. So a flower perfectly in bloom, you say, nah, that's a perfect flower. That's exactly what it's supposed to be. But it's not always that. It's a seed, it's a little bud, it's partially bloomed, it's fully bloomed. It goes through a phase. And so that's us too. So we can look at ourselves and say, like, yes, at this phase, I'm perfect just the way I am. Have I reached my fullest potential? No. But is that expected of me? Do I get to be like poofed into existence, this fully developed being? And the answer is, of course not. Why would you be any exception to the rule of anything in nature? I mean, even mountains that are beautiful go through a process. It's a slower one, but they still don't start that way. They develop. So you can think of it that way. And you can also think of it in this analogy. Think about like school, right? So the point of school is to, at that phase in your development, grow and develop. Okay. So you wouldn't say an eighth grader is better than a first grader. You just wouldn't say that. First grader is a first grader, and eighth grader is an eighth grader. Like one's not better than the other. Now, can you give more responsibility to an eighth grader? Yeah. Can you ask more of them? Certainly. Can they do more complicated math and like writing? Sure. But is one better than the other? And the answer is no. So they have to be developed. They have to go through a process. And you become an eighth grader by being challenged appropriately over time and overcoming and proving your competency in that. And then you get harder, more challenging lessons. And so that's kind of the pathway towards a more developed person, a more enlightened person is like, I've been challenged and I've learned the lessons I've overcome, and now I'm in the next grade, right? So again, one's not better than the other. It's just different phases of development. Okay. And so that's us with humans. Like, I mean, we're all at the phase that we are right now in our growth. And you could say, like, could I have learned these lessons faster and been more closer to who I am? Or more closer to my potential now? And the answer is like, yeah, probably, but that's not what happened. And so you could argue it's useless. So what you want to say is, okay, sure, I could have learned these lessons better and I didn't. So what's the useful tool now? And the useful tool now is love and compassion of what you've been through. Any judgment or guilt or shame towards the past is an inhibitor towards growth. It's going to limit your ability to learn and develop into that highest potential person that you want to be. So the answer is yes, I'm not who I could be, but also, yeah, maybe I'm perfect just the way I am. Or another way of saying that is I'm unfolding the perfection within. Yes, there's perfection within. Just think about like a flower seed. It's not a flower yet. It's not a fully bloomed flower yet, but it's still perfectly a flower in that phase. So you can start to see yourself that way. It's like, yeah, I'm perfect the way I am. Yep, I haven't reached my fullest potential, and I still do all these things that I know are not beneficial or not loving or not generous or not peaceful or not joyful. But I don't get to just skip steps and get there without going through the process. It's like, here's where I am right now. I'm perfect the way I am. And I know that means I'm moving in this direction towards like a fuller expression of my potential, or the essence of who I actually am. So, difficult question. Maybe I answered that well, maybe I didn't. But I did this because I think I was afraid to do it. And so maybe more streams to come. People have asked for it. And I think I just need to start facing my fears. All right. So signing out. Feel free if you have more questions, comment or reach out to me directly through my website, drjakehyde.com, or social medias. You just look for Dr. Jake Hyde. And with your support, maybe I will overcome my fears of just putting stuff on the internet. All right. Anyway, love you guys. Hope you're well. Bye.